Welcome back, everybody. Once again, hope you are ready to go. We are halfway through. We now know our first two competitors in the grand finals of the World Championship. I went to grab some more water. Elin went to get her chocolate milk. We are ready to go for two more intense series, are we not?
We are so ready. And what an incredible couple of series that we've seen so far. Both first matchup between Bamboo and Head, such critical matches, and all those little plays that you miss one thing and you could lose it all. Jaking and Birdo then, the apprentice beating the master, just an incredible bunch of series that both ran to the full 5 games. And so excited to be moving into the lower bracket now to find out who the other two players moving on to the grand finals are going to be.
Absolutely. And as wonderful as all the competitors have been, also want to give a shout out to all the casters. I have the easy job. I just kind of sit here and, show you the bracket, and Mark Theus makes it look all pretty. But the casting of the first two series have been phenomenal as well. I think Darkness was the one talking about before the J King and Birdo match, how Birdo might be one of the best Soviet self-damage players. Sure enough, what does J King do? Comes right out and bans it. So getting that next level of analysis is also fantastic. So great job to everybody so far, but we're only halfway through. Let's bring up the bracket. Let's take a look at what we got coming up next. So Bamboo versus Kobasnik is going to be our next matchup. You were mentioning some little potential critical challenges or issues or errors that a player might make. Bamboo missing lethal, costing them the series against Head. What do you think Bamboo's kind of headspace is looking like? How are they feeling going into this matchup against Kobasnik?
That he's needed to kind of like recover a little bit, and I hope that he's had the time to do that since we saw him in the last series. He is, of course, someone that we haven't seen so much in the kind of high-level competitive scene up until this point. So this is a really big moment for him, and it's amazing that he's been able to make it this far. And what a moment to miss that one move and essentially give Head the opportunity to win that series. So he's got one more chance though, and who knows? I mean, Kobasnik is a huge opponent to be taking on for Bamboo, but we've seen him taking on some incredible matches, some really strong opponents, and beating those. So I really think it might be anyone's game here.
Absolutely. It does sound like Bamboo went out, grabbed himself some food, probably feeling a little bit better now. We do have our first two competitors, so big congratulations to Head and Birdo. They will be going to the grand finals. They will be guaranteed at least $1,000, but these last two matchups are going to be do or die. Everybody's extra life is gone now. Bamboo had the chance, J King had the chance, and now it is the final two matchups to determine the last two spots in our grand finals happening December 3rd and 4th for the 2022 KARDS World Championship. Let's kick it over to Spoos and Ollie for the next match.
And we are back. It is time for the lower bracket matches. The first one of which is going to be between Bamboo and Kobasnik. And keep in mind, this one is for all the marbles. Whoever wins here will make it into the top 4 grand finals, securing themselves $1,000. Whoever loses will walk away with nothing but the glory of having made it this far. Spoos, it is all on the line for this one.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure in the first two matches, but even more pressures now. Like if you lose the first one, you still have the chance in the lower bracket, but now it's all or nothing. And yeah, I think Bamboo cannot really do another mistake here, otherwise he's just out.
Yeah, and I mean, if he was feeling the pressure before, the pressure is multiplied for this one, right? So let's hope that, with a full stomach, he is able to, get himself back up to the mental state that he needs to be to give Kobasnik a run for his money. And let's take a look at his decks, of course. We did see a few of these played earlier, including the mobilized one. What was banned away from him was what, his jet? No, his.
Oh, the mobilized one.
Oh, the mobilized one was banned. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. So the mobilized one was banned, but we did see the other ones. Run us through these quickly, and then we'll take a little bit more in-depth look at what Kobasnik is bringing to the table.
Yeah. So the other 3 decks, nothing too special here. US, Germany frontline, and Japan, Germany feign retreat. We've seen it a lot today already. And yeah, the good old Soviet Japan self-damage, also very popular in the past months. And the good old Brit France mobilized deck. Yeah, I hope we're going to see it this series, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I'm like, let's make sure to highlight the fact that, you know, in his Japan self-damage deck, or Soviet self-damage deck, sorry, he is bringing the Katyusha. 1 copy of that. He's bringing the double Yura and the double counteroffensive. Almost basically had the lethal against Head to secure himself a spot in the Grand Championships finals there, but missed the lethal due to some mental calculation errors or even just the pressure. And then on the flip side for Kobasnik, let's take a look at what he is bringing to the table here. Why don't you walk us through this one? I see some France, I see some Poland, some interesting decks here.
Yeah, pretty interesting deck by Kobasnik. He's bringing a similar deck that J King just brought, like the Force deck, the Soviet France control deck. It looked pretty strong on J King's side there, especially against what Birdo was bringing to the table there, that US frontline deck. Pretty strong deck. I think that was the last deck I lost in the open qualifiers against Transpotting, I guess, with German control. And when I first saw the deck, I was really just undervaluing it, how strong it can be. But I learned my lesson. I just learned this is a really, really strong deck. The other decks is a German, US, kind of Fast Heinz deck, but without Fast Heinz, just all the good old German Blitz tanks, the strong US cards like the 109's Engineers. And yeah, also a very aggressive deck, but it can also, I think it's comparable to the US German frontline deck, but a little bit stronger maybe early on, because all these tanks can directly attack HQ, because they're just tanks and not as in the US variant, a lot of more infantry. And yeah, with that being said, the second deck is that US German frontline deck. So Kobasnik kind of having his play style combined into 2 decks here. And the third one is really interesting, a deck I haven't seen in a while, and also in that variant, not really as for now, like Britain, Poland, Legions, I guess. Very interesting. I'm not sure what exactly the win condition of this deck is. It's probably just controlling the board, building some Legions, and then kill your opponent with that. I would have expected a Commonwealth in this deck, but actually there is none.
Yeah.
Which is pretty surprising. He's having also Empire Strikes by only having a handful of bombers. But yeah, he fought himself up to this point. He was the first one to drop to the losers bracket and just fought himself to this point here. And I think, yeah, he deserves it. And I think the decks that he's bringing are pretty good.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see these decks in action, and I can't wait to see which decks gets banned. And it looks like the Brit-Poland ban being banned away there for Kobasnik, and the Japan aggro deck being banned away from Bamboo. That means we get to see the mobilized decks, Boos.
Yeah, probably, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, at least. But we're pretty much ready to go on into the action for this one, and keep in mind, there's a lot on the line here. There's a lot of pressure. So whoever is able to handle the pressure better, likely going to end up at, beating the other player in this matchup, because you've seen it time and time again. A lot of the times the cards matter, but they don't matter as much as making the right decisions based on what your opponent is bringing, and you can't do that when you are too mentally distressed to think. And I see we are loading up into the match, and here we go. Kobasnik versus Bamboo. Who will be the third person to secure their spot in the KARDS 2022 World Championship Grand Finals? Who will join Head and Berto Burrito Will it be Bamboo or Kobasnik? We're going to find out right now.
Oh, Kobasnik pretty good finding the 32nd here, but so did Bamboo. Unfortunately, he found 2 in the mulligan, so this is not really optimal here, but Bamboo also with a follow-up 35T.
Choosing not to play it, or
Yeah, you could easily go there, just securing yourself the front line, but you can also just get rid of these 32nd in your deck, making it more likely to have one in the front line on turn 4 to bring in a potential Sherman. Unfortunately, both players are not having a Sherman right now. So
What this
Kobasnik
does-
maybe a little bit in the advantage here for just having a wider hand at the moment.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, because what I see on the Kobasnik side is the 2 Whirlwinds, right?
Yeah.
Again, with the 3 HP, they come in so clutch here. Let's say the Panzer 35T gets dropped. Now that we hit turn 3, the Whirlwind is able to come out and attack and trade 2 for 1. So
Yeah.
that's going to be massive.
Absolutely massive. But on the other hand, Bamboo is having the Blitzkrieg in hand, another 35T. But I'm pretty sure Kobasnik just going for the Whirlwind here, or he can also just trade the 35T away, or probably going for the 32nd and just deploying more 32nd on his end. Because there's no Stars and Stripes or something like that possible at the moment, so he can just go a little bit wide here, also get these units out of his board, out of his deck, and whenever he deploys the Sherman now, he gets the good cards in his hand, but double Blitzkrieg is not really what you want to have here at this point.
No, and great use of the dive bombing there by Kobasnik, clearing the front line. And look at that. Now he's able to push that Whirlwind into the front line, effectively blocking it. Bamboo's gonna have to commit both of those 32nd infantry players, infantry units, if he wants to kill that Whirlwind. But opting to go for the "we can do it," saying I'll give my team a little bit more durability.
So Kobasnik has several options now. He can drop 99s. He could also just bounce one of the 2 4s in the support line. Look, he's just doing both. Could have also gone 5th Rangers front line maybe. So several options. Now he's just facing, Bamboo's facing a 4-5 in the front line. And that is a lot of resources he has to invest to just get rid of one unit there.
Yeah, and I mean, half his hand is pretty much sitting mostly idle at the moment, right? You don't really want to leave the 4-5 up there hitting your HQ and commit to something like the strat bombing without developing your board any further. So Bamboo falling a little bit behind early here.
Ooh, look at the Stars and Stripes. Yikes.
And 4 damage to the HQ. That's got to sting. Now, Bamboo needs to find something. He finds the
That
5th
is
Rangers.
something.
Yeah.
That is absolutely something.
He
I
would
think he would have
probably-
loved to be at turn 8 here and make
Yeah.
it as an 8-8. I'm just wondering if he's still going for it, but there's a big risk that there's just another half trick bouncing it back to hand. So he decides to just clear the front line, take another 4 damage here, and do it next turn as an 8-8. I expect so. The
Yeah, I mean,
question is Kobasnik just trading the 2-1 away now? Just to secure himself the front line?
The 5th Rangers will still have blitz. They'll just
yeah,
they'll just
he's
have
just-
4 operating costs, right? So he's going to be able to trade out that 4-5 at least, which alleviates some pressure. But now that might just not be quite enough. So I wonder if he's gonna go for it. Yeah, he decides to go for it. Takes out the 4-5 Whirlwind. It's gonna be tanking another 4 damage to face, probably.
Yeah, that's why I don't like double Blitzkrieg in the frontline deck, because Bamboo just having 2 dead cards in hand the whole time here, and if one of these would have been, I don't know, another half track or stuff like that, would have been easier for him to just gain control back over the front line here. And it's a good amount of damage from Kobasnik. He just is in the damage lead now. Also, not really threatening lethal, but pretty tough situation here for Bamboo. Is Kobasnik himself playing Blitzkrieg? Let me check. Yeah, he's running one copy. Yeah, one copy is always good because in several matchups, your opponent always needs to play around it. Like Birdo Reader, for example, I think he's playing 0 Blitzkriegs. And that's pretty interesting how players are just valuing cards differently and just tweaking the decks to their needs. We are all gone. Oh, that
Throws
fifth
back
Ranger?
the. Why does he throw back the PIR? The PIR is just going to get deployed again and continue buffing at not much cost. Actually, that costs less than committing the half track to it. And you're still going to take another 4 damage to face here.
And now he's also having the chance to. Yeah. Oh, these sudden strikes are not doing a lot here. On the other hand, that 5th Ranger, what was it? He killed 2 units already? Going for the 3rd one now?
Yeah, but there's no way that
But
you
on
can
the other hand,
kill-
that 2/6 there, right? The Red Devils.
Yeah.
What can Bamboo ever do against this? And gain control of the front line back again. Not that he's
very little.
getting any value out of it, like he's not having a Sherman, but it's also so much credits. With 3 units, it's just 3 additional damage to attack into it. And then it's
Yeah.
still living.
And I mean, like, even if, let's say he has the front line and Kobasnik is just developing backline units. Oh my god, and the
Ooh.
strat bombing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much game, right? That's gonna leave him on 2 HP, and he's gonna have to find an answer. Oh, Kobasnik not opting for it. Looks like he wants to just instead do it within 1 turn, not expose his hand too soon. He knows that it's gonna be a really hard time. It pretty much boils down to Bamboo finding a Hellcat.
Yeah, but also a half track is pretty risky here. I mean, I expect him to just drop another 5th Rangers additionally.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would have loved to see strat bombing. I don't think he's ever getting more value out of it than this turn. Like, there were 3 units.
And the PIR for good measure buffing himself.
As usual, there could be 10 units on board. It would still buff itself. But still
Dive
very
bombing. I mean, dive bombing gets it pretty close. It's
good.
not
Yeah,
going to
but
be
still
enough.
lethal.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough because of the strategic bombing. But, you know, dive bombing puts it so that at least he's able, in Bamboo's mind, he just made a play that extends his life a little bit. In
But
reality, it does not.
we know better, yeah. And he
There you
also
go.
found the Hellcat here. Not even strat bombing needed. Still goes for it. Nice. Whoa.
Oh,
That was a fast one.
Yeah, pretty fast one. Not even hitting turn 12. Actually, just hitting turn 10 here. Kobasnik takes an early lead here against Bamboo and inches himself 1 win closer to that grand championship spot.
I mean, Kobasnik is already waiting for 5 hours for his first match today, right? So I think he wants to get things done fast today. Match number 2. There we go.
It's like we are having a little bit of stuttering on the mulligan screen, so we won't be privy to what Bamboo is mulliganing at the moment, unless that refreshes in some way. Well, we see what he did get out of the mulligan, so there is a 34th guards in hand. There is a bloody sickle as well.
Yeah, he had the 34s and the sickle.
Yeah, and a Yak 7. Things have been really weird on the technical side today. Everything that we normally do and have done for the past year seems to not be working. But look at that turn number 2 from Kobasnik. Panzer 2A plus 2 Befelswagens in the front line now.
Pretty good opening. That's a lot of value out of these Befehlswagen.
Really
Yikes.
good one.
Do we see the Panzer 3F?
And there we go.
Unfortunately, cannot go Greif Panzer 3F. That would be the nuts here.
Panzer 3F, that's going to buff everything up here. Takes up the full turn, though, so not any action coming out of it, as you said. The 456 guards benefiting from that Yak 7 being a 3-5 now.
And there's also the chance to deploy the first 34s here. Bamboo just thinking, how can he get a max value out of his play here? Katyusha. What to do with the Katyusha?
I don't know. I mean, to me, that's pretty interesting. I wonder if he's trying to set up, the Yak 7 play, then playing the 34th guards. But I mean, that Katyusha is very vulnerable now. And with the dive bombing coming in, that means that Kobasnik is able to trade out those 456 guards for free if he so chooses. He can
it's
even
also having the
play.
Greif, right?
Yeah.
Greif Marder dive bombing, that would be huge here. But unfortunately, again, 1 credit short of the super optimal play here. But I think it's still strong enough. Dive bombing on the guards. Trade them away. Kill the Katyusha.
You definitely don't want to leave that Katyusha up, but it's just pure unit advantage now. I was thinking, like, is Bamboo trying to set up some like winter offensive, big play? Didn't look like it. Now first rifles being drawn by the Sukhov. That's going to get a slight buff, a +1/+2 buff.
Could also
That's
just
a
wait with
decent.
the first rifles. They have blitz, right? I'm not sure if he can get more value out of them maybe if he waits and just puts up 456, but
He could
I think it's just
456. He could 456 the Winter Warfare and then Bloody Sickle, the
yeah.
one of the Beffelswagens, and that would be a pretty decent turn.
Yeah, and use that blitz for next turn. But I
Yeah.
think a 4-6 that spawns another guard is also pretty good here.
Another dive bombing being found by Kobasnik if he chooses it. He does.
He does.
Again, 1 credit short from the Greif play.
What I also found in Kobasnik's deck, was it in this one? Yeah, this is the German one, right? He's playing, Naval Task Force. Can you tell me what that card is, Ollie?
I don't
No, you
remember.
can't. You can't,
actually.
yeah, because nobody's playing it, but Kobasnik is having it. It's a 1 credit order that lets you choose between, how is it called? That order that is bouncing a unit back to the hand, depending on if it's in the front line or a support
Naval
line.
bombardment or a supply shipment.
Yeah, exactly. That's really interesting to have 1 copy of this in the deck. And it makes sense. Like if you have a big unit or a unit in the front line, you can use the supply shipment.
But
Or if you
now,
need, yeah.
because of this 1 credit short situation for Kobasnik here with the Greif, the initiative seems to have shifted a little bit in Bamboo's favor, right? He now has a lot of units established on board. There's not a ton of blitz options or ways to really take out a bunch of units at the moment for Kobasnik. And things are looking a little bit better for Bamboo. You know,
Also
Winter
quite interesting
Warfare-
that Kobasnik did not go for the Greif this turn.
Yeah. Winter
He wants
Warfare,
to
Bloody
see-
Sickle. I mean, that's a pretty huge play, right? He can even
Yeah.
if he plays counteroffensive now, that's 4 units. That's +8/+4.
Okay,
Option to
one
just
is a
go
good
for the
play here.
KV1.
So I expect Kobasnik is not having Hellcat in the deck then. Otherwise, I think Bamboo would have guarded his KV, but no, there's no Hellcat. So there's actually no way other than finding Blitzkrieg and some Blitz tanks to kill the KV at the moment.
KV doing work here, dealing 4 damage within this turn, 6 damage if you count the initial draw. That is a significant amount of damage. I mean, also, I mean, the KV-1 can be a platform for the counteroffensive. Maybe that's what Bamboo is thinking here. Isn't this just game? Winter Warfare counteroffensive plus attack plus 4, that's just game.
That's a big KV1, I guess. Holy, how much is this even? Plus 16. Wow.
Wow.
Wait, really well played there by Bamboo. He knew exactly what to do there and was patient enough to just leave everything in the front line there, trade it away, and just set up for this huge play in the end and just equaling the score 1-1.
Yeah, and not going for, you know, this idea that, you know, you're not really pushing to go for the, we still have to replace in the mulligan screen the new source, I believe, but we'll at least get to see Kobasnik's mulligan here.
Sticking with the German deck. What is the other deck he has available? Soviet France.
Yeah.
Now up against US frontline. It's German frontline versus US frontline.
Yep, and the scores are tied. Kobasnik 1, Bamboo 1. Will this be another 5-game series here to decide who will make it into the grand finals? That is yet to be determined. There's that Naval Task Force, that card in Kobasnik's hand. Everybody's scratching their head at right now, going like, what art is that? Is that alternative art? No, it's just a card that you don't see a lot of. Hovering the Skytrain there.
Yeah, like Kobasnik has not much to get rid of it, and it's providing a lot of damage here. Oh, this 2-2, for example, is very good. 2 health.
Now finding the Greif. I think you play the Greif plus the 22nd infantry here. And you trade yourself and move into the front line.
Yeah, like it's so essential against, as the deck name is already telling us, against US German frontline, to keep your opponent away from the front line. Like, you don't want to give him Sherman draw, you don't want to give him so much value on the Skytrain there that is constantly just spawning units. You want to get your opponent stuck in his own support line so that the Skytrain is not spawning units, he cannot draw with the Sherman. And that is what Kobasnik is trying to do here. I think he's trading away the 32nd. Holding the Whirlwind back, I guess. So it cannot get traded away from the 2-2. Ooh, there is a big Flampanzer rolling in. On the Greif, probably. Yeah, and this was why it was so important that he got a 2-2 instead of a 2-1. Now this unit is surviving and can probably get another trade off.
Yeah.
So what can Kobasnik do here? Ooh.
I mean,
Losing the Greif was really painful. Can you double Marder in hand? I can go to the front line, play supply shipment maybe, but then the Flampanzer is just killing it. Pretty tough.
yeah, definitely a tough situation here. Opting to put the 22nd infantry in the front line, reserving his Warble Wind there. Hellcat being found by Bamboo, and I wonder if Bamboo decides to operate here, if he just goes, we can do it. I mean, there is some merit to just playing we can do it. It'll make that 10th Engineering Battalion a 1-3, making it a 1-4, sorry, making it a little bit more sticky on the board.
Yeah, but I think this was not the correct spot to do it. He would have lost a lot of tempo there, and
Yeah.
Kobasnik could have just flooded the board. So I think it was the correct play to get rid of units there, secure himself the front line. He has 2 infantry units as a follow-up in his support line that can go to the front and secure him the Sherman draw. So I think there are better spots to do it, and they definitely might come later in the game when he can play We Can Do It and operate units.
Ooh, Befelswagen being found. That's actually a pretty big pickup there, giving an additional unit into the front line and a free trade on the 10th Engineering Battalions. Of course, Bamboo is able to activate that unit that I forget what it's called because we normally don't see him unless he comes in with the Skytrain. But he basically gets +2 for each adjacent unit. So if he plays out the Hellcat, then oh yeah, it's still gonna survive. There we go. And now the Hellcat is able to take the front line.
So much value from the Skytrain already. It's just unbelievable. Found a Panzer 2A, which is pretty good to get rid of the Hellcat there. In addition with the Marder. It could be a good play here. What else can he do?
I mean, also, if he wants, he can even dive bombing the Hellcat before he kills it. To keep it alive. No, I thought it was 1 credit more. It was 1 credit short to get control of the front line there. But now that US unit spawned by the Skytrain is going to take the front line, allowing Bamboo to activate that Sherman and draw 2 cards. So Skytrain continuing to provide more and more value, and a Whirlwind can be stuck into the front line as well. A 35T can even be pushed up the field and hit face. Can even trade out the Martyr.
Yeah, I think you kill the Martyr here. You have a 1-1 in the front line that is probably buffing one of your backline units. And that Martyr could provide a lot of value there for Kobasnik. Just get rid of it. You still have a lot of stuff on the board that might come to the front line next turn, like that 4-4 Sherman. Skytrain just spawned another 2-2. And Kobasnik slowly running out of options. He has a lot of stuff in hand, but nothing really too useful here against the backline of Bamboo.
He needs to find a way to break out of his support line and put some pressure and presence into the front line. And that's something that he doesn't have the tools to do at the moment. He both is lacking the tools and he's lacking the credits to do so, which I think is the big thing. And now I guess one of the big things that you need to consider is that Sherman just got buffed. That's now a 5-5 platform there that can move across the field and hit your face, putting you down to 11 and making it difficult for you to retaliate. That's not necessarily the card that you want to send back into hand either, because that is going to give your opponent a chance to reactivate its draw and draw 2 more cards. So a little bit of a sticky situation here for Kobasnik.
Yeah, and I think that's also the advantage of playing this deck archetype with US main. I mean, he could have also access to Stars and Stripes, but he chose not to bring it. But your opponent can just abuse knowing that you don't have access to strat bombing or Stars and Stripes. So he can just go as wide as he wants, and you cannot really punish it. And this is what we are seeing right here. Bamboo can just completely have 4 units in the support line, and just wave after wave that is coming from Kobasnik there, he can just trade it away and wait for the next turn. And now there's a big 5-5 in the front, and I don't see, I mean, he is having the dive bombing, but as far as I can see, not too many blitz tanks. He's having the Panzer 3F.
Yeah, the Panzer 3F.
Other Panzer 3 that is giving blitz units +2 attack, but that's it basically. That's not enough to get rid of the 5-5 there. He's sending it back to the hand. Enabled bombardment?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, because there's the... Wait, you can also just send back the Wirbelwind and use the FW on the Sherman? Yeah.
All right, and a decent tempo swing there. Of course, this does give Bamboo the option to get some more draws there with the additional Sherman in hand. And now having 4 Shermans in hand and board control, Bamboo is not going to be running out of cards to play anytime soon.
But it might soon be the time where we just see a good We Can Do It here. You can just move 3 units in the front line, play a 1-drop, and then bring a big We Can Do It. And yeah, that's big trouble for Kobasnik. Even more stuff in the front line that he needs to get rid of.
Kobasnik finding a we can do it of his own, but not quite gonna have the same effect as the we can do it just coming out of Bamboo.
Not even close. Bamboo just hit 5 units. Kobasnik.
And I mean, Bamboo played that Skytrain on turn 4, right? So that Skytrain has spawned 6 units at this point, or 5 units on this at this point.
Yeah.
One on turn 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 units that have come out of that Skytrain, all of which Kobasnik has had to deal with. One of them was the 10th Engineers. That was good for Bamboo. Another one of them was that +1/+1 that made that Sherman a bigger threat. So yeah, this has been this is a fairly tough situation here.
And there are more to come, pretty sure. Because Kobasnik has just other problems than just dealing with the Skytrain. So this Skytrain will deliver more and more units over time here. And yeah, Kobasnik, I don't know, he's not running Leopold. I think this is the worst situation he could be in with this deck.
And keep in mind, he has to go up against the mobilized deck last if he doesn't win this one.
Yeah, I'm also... Yeah, I mean, I think this is the best deck to queue when you know that your opponent brings the frontline deck. I think the Soviet deck is not that great against it. But still, let's look at this. Holy, so many green units there.
Skytrain is now... Sorry, the Skytrain is now a 2/9. It's now a
Skytrain
2/9
OTK
unit.
incoming.
I mean, it's actually a threat now. It can chip away from the back line at his HQ constantly, and it needs to be dealt with.
But how? There is no way.
I have no idea.
Yeah, this is such an awkward situation here for Kobasnik.
I mean, luckily for Kobasnik, he's able to deal with most of the damage output in the front line. But these smaller units, those 1 attack, 2 attack units that just keep creeping up from the support line and into the front line, they are a pain to deal with.
So far, he's managing it pretty well. But if we look at Bamboo's hand there, there's so much more stuff to come.
Draft bombing being hovered there. That's going to take out the Jack Bomber if he chooses to use it. There's also then a 50% chance when he attacks with that 1/6 infantry unit in the front line that it's going to hit the other Panzer and take that one out. It does not. It goes into the HQ. A little bit of luck going Kobasnik's way. But man, those guys, they just keep on coming.
Whenever Kobasnik is removing 2 units, they're just 3 coming back.
Somebody put on some Smash Mouth because they don't stop coming.
So the Greyhound can help to get rid of one of them. But that one is sitting at 6 health, the other one is at 5 health, and it's even a Red Devils. Ay, ay, ay. Panzer 3F. This is not looking great.
And he's being able to deal with some of the pressure that is being put on there, just not all of it.
Yeah, every turn is just removing 2 units, and next turn there are just 2 more back, like this. Red Devils. Bamboo probably looking for the Stars and Stripes here. Did not find it, but found the Blitzkrieg. Ooh, this could be huge soon. Is this already lethal?
It's close to it, I think.
With 35T? Yeah,
it is.
Definitely lethal.
And there we go. Bamboo secures win in game number 3, taking a lead in the final chance to qualify for the grand finals of the KARDS 2022 World Championship. Bamboo 2, Kobasnik 1. And Kobasnik having Soviet France control, and that deck we just saw available to him against the mobilized list that's going to be coming out of Bamboo. And now we get to see how powerful that list can be. Will Kobasnik be able to deal with the onslaught? Does he change tactics? No, he continues to go for his German tank deck, and that makes sense. You want to have something that can put some early pressure on. That hand is not what he needs, though. He needs to find some of those Panzer 2H or Panzer 2As pretty
Double
early.
fifth parachutes for Bamboo here. Yikes. And Kobasnik not having a Blitz 1 drop.
No, but he has dive bombing, right? So dive bombing can take out one at the start.
At least something.
I feel like he has to be able to do that. Keep in mind, Bamboo did just dump his hand and he doesn't have draw to compensate. There we go. Another Panzer 2A. That can even be pushed up into the front line or played to be reserved in the back line. And then on turn 3, the Heinkel can come out and can stop that unit from mobilizing further.
That's a tough spot here now for Kobasnik. Yeah, he has to go double 109s. But that
There's
guy
the
is...
commandos. The commandos Kefers, paired with the honey, they're going to start pinging.
Yeah, just drop the Kiefer and move the 3-3 to the front line. It's pretty strong here. A lot of pressure for Kobasnik. Also really annoying that the Kiefer is having smoke screen, so you cannot even get rid of it with the Heinkel now. But he needs to stop this parachute to be mobilized.
Yep. Already not looking great. And keep in mind, next draw from Bamboo is going to cause a ping from those commandos. And there's a carpet bomb! There's a carpet bomb, Spoos!
That can be
Finally!
huge. Absolutely. All of these units from Kobasnik have 3 health or less. I mean, there are some 4 health units, but that can be really painful at some point for Kobasnik if he's not playing well around it.
And Bamboo just moves the honey up because there is a shelling waiting. He knows he just needs to put the pressure on now. And this is already looking dire for Kobasnik.
Yeah, he's really struggling to gain frontline access. And yeah, it's really backfiring in every match so far when he's playing the deck. But also Bamboo's hand is not looking that great here, to be honest. He needs to find draw. Once he finds convoy, it could be huge, especially with the Kiefer and honey combo up.
Yeah.
What do you pick here? Panzer 3H probably. Pursuit, okay. To get rid of the Kiefer maybe. Oh, there's the Potes.
Alright, one combo there. But look at the damage. Just the pings from the commandos. They do hurt.
They hurt absolutely. And once Bamboo is finding a mobilized unit now, that can become pretty big snowball here. With Honey and Kiefer on board. So far, he's just bouncing that one. Honey stays on board. What is he finding? Monty.
But, I mean, throwing the commandos Kiefers on board does mean that Bamboo has a unit to proc the Potes.
Yeah. But at this point, it's not really forced to play it. He can just wait for another unit. So he gets double synergy out of Potes plus Kiefer combo. And he can just start or keep chipping away. And that's what we talked about it in the war room. Like, Kobasnik is constantly just busy getting rid of all these mobilized units. And soon there will be a point where Bamboo is just going over 30 health. And then he's just killing it with Commonwealth. It's really annoying sometimes to deal with all the stuff that is going on against Mobilize. And he's deciding... Oh, he found another one.
Yep. And look, that's 2 damage being procced every single time that he draws a card. And he's going to be able to keep it up next turn as well. I mean, that is so painful. If you're Kobasnik, I love this list from Bamboo. This is what I'm going to be playing for the next however long this is viable.
Yeah, I mean, with air being nerfed, I think Mobilize can see a comeback, honestly.
Okay, taking out the Potez, smart move, proccing the Blitz on the Befelswagen, gets a little bit of real estate there. Still, you know, he's going to be forced to contend with a very difficult board here.
Kitty Hawk, is he playing the Monty here? That's what I'm asking myself. Or yeah, just to secure himself.
Look at the
It's
beast.
tough, I guess. I think you want to get the draw out of it, but also you want to protect your units. Ah, man, this is really close.
But I mean, there's not a lot of threat on your units, right? Yes, the honey can be killed, but it's going to cost 4 credits. The Kitty Hawk can't be killed. Oh, it can now. It absolutely can now. Wonder if that's what we're going to be seeing. If we're going to see the Blitzkrieg come in just to clear a little bit. This is so difficult. This is so difficult. There's 2 units that's pinging all over the place there. And Bamboo's at 29 health. Kobasnik needs to find a way to A, deal with the board, B, deal with the HQ HP, and he needs to do it with the limited resources that he has in hand, and he does have no reliable way to get the 22nd Infantry out and have it live.
So he identified the Kitty Hawk as the biggest threat here. Might see 22nd plus phase. Once Bamboo finds draw here, then Kobasnik is having a big problem. Even the carpet bombing is huge now here.
Yeah. You can just rip the carpet
Wait, you can
bomb.
just do double honey Monty, maybe? That would have also been so many pings from the
Yeah.
Kiefer. Deciding to not go for it.
He could even do he could do honey, another commando, and Monty, right? He would have pinged for
over 9,000.
4. He would have pinged for 4 damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Now his Kiefer lost Mobilize and Smokescreen. I don't know. I would have liked the other line more.
Kobasnik goes for the Befelswagen over the We Can Do It, whereas the We Can Do It is the only thing that is protecting his units from a carpet bomb.
Yeah. I think Bamboo has to carpet bomb now. And what else can he do? That's why I would have loved to see the Monty earlier here.
But the thing is, I think you're fine with carpet bombing. You carpet bomb, you push the honey up, you hit face, and then you secret operatives.
Not even going for the secret ops. I think you really want to have as much units in a front line as possible here. Good find. That's so strong about the Panzer 38Ts later on. They can give you bodies on the board and just give you additional draw.
And there we go. That's going to buff the unit. And it's going to ping. The Monty's going to draw as well, and that's going to ping some more. And the Ultra is out.
And he even found the airdrop. So once Kobasnik is reaching the front line, he's just helping Bamboo here, activating the airdrop.
Well, he's always going to have at least 2 units because of the Befelswagen. But I mean, so he drops the Whirlwind. And then what's the plan? Is the plan to pursuit the honey back so that you can try and get some, or is it going to be drop Whirlwind, We Can Do It, then hit the honey? But We Can Do It is going to get caught by Ultra.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if Kobasnik is forced to play Pursuit Blitzkrieg here to just get him below 30. I'm not sure. It's so difficult to say what's the perfect
That's
line
gonna
here.
be pings, bringing him down to 5.
He passed. And I think he... Oh, the Churchill. Churchill, move everything up, go face. I mean, what can Kobasnik do against this?
Nothing. Nothing. That's what he can do. He can do nothing.
It's not even, I want to say wait, is he not dropping the Churchill? He has to. He's giving Kobasnik more draw options here, but yeah, what what is he needing here? A miracle. He needed a Leopold, but it's not in the deck. Anything else, I guess, is not really helping him here.
There's absolutely nothing that Kobasnik can do at this point. His fate is going to be sealed, and Bamboo finding composure and putting together a solid performance across these 4 games. And it looks like he is going to secure himself the third spot in our grand finals here. I see nothing else that's going to change things one bit. You can play all the blitz tanks that you want. You're not going to find 7 damage.
Oh no. Secret Ops paying out here.
Secret operatives, that's going to be enough. There we go. Kobasnik surrenders, and Bamboo is our 3rd player in the top 4 of the KARDS 2022 World Championship. Only 1 spot remains. Congratulations to Bamboo. Redemption is yours after the mistakes earlier. Sad to see Kobasnik go, but that's how the way it is sometimes. Put up a strong fight, but just wasn't able to find success with that German US deck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was really successful in the qualifiers or in the stages before. Yeah, but in this match it did not really pay out. Bamboo played perfectly against him, knew exactly what he needs to do, and yeah, unfortunately for Kobasnik, he waited long today, and then yeah, 3-1 out. But this is how it is. Congrats to Bamboo. He did not get punished for his match 1 mistakes there, and he's our 3rd participant in the top 4.
Yeah, congratulations to Bamboo. With that said, we'll throw it over to our host desk where Christo and Elin are waiting to wrap this one up and pass us on to the final series of today between Vinnie and JKing7.
Thank you so much, Ollie. Big congratulations there. Go to Bamboo, fully recovered from that previous series. Like Ollie said, redemption. You know, you've got somebody who had a tough series, didn't make it through against Head, moves on, has a little bit of a break, some time to compose themselves, goes in, and then Kobasnik starts off hot, right? Kobasnik wins that first game, wins it fairly quickly, and then at that point, you know, Bamboo just said, hey, I got to turn this around, and absolutely does, and will be our 3rd participant in the grand finals.
Absolutely. Bamboo really showing what a strong player he can really be. And I mean, Kobasnik himself, like super strong player as well, made his way through the a large portion of the loser bracket there, and really had some very impressive games prior to this. But whatever Bamboo ate in his break must have given him that energy that he needed. And yeah, just incredibly impressive. And he is going to be our 3rd finalist for the 2022 World Championship.
Absolutely, and great point. Huge shout out to Kobasnik. You know, somebody who lost fairly early on in the knockout stages of the top 32, started at the beginning of that bottom bracket and absolutely fought tooth and nail to get to this point today. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off, and Bamboo did reign supreme. Let's take a look at this bracket because it's starting to fill out now. So we have, as you can see, 3 of the 4 competitors. We've got Head, we've got Birdo, we've got Bamboo. Each one guaranteed at least $1,000. but they will be competing for that $10,000 prize pool December 3rd and 4th. Mark your calendars. We have 3 of the 4 participants, 1 left.
Is it going to be J King 7 or Vinnie? I mean, reigning world championship, J King 7 definitely seemed like the player to beat here today, starting off, and then had an unfortunate series against Birdo. Now this is his last chance to have a shot at claiming the title again and becoming the 2022 KARDS World Champion. I am sure that he is very excited to try and clasp this title away from Vinnie. But Vinnie definitely no easy competitor. So it will be very interesting to see how this series goes.
Absolutely. And J King's had a phenomenal time making it through the group phase, making it through the knockout phase, getting to today and facing that first bit of adversity. Let's see if he can bounce back when we kick it over to Ollie and Darkness to call this last matchup to determine the 4th player in our KARDS World Championship for 2022.
Thank you so much, Christo and Elin. And yes, it all comes down to this. Who will take the last spot in the grand finals? Will it be the reigning world champion J King 7, the most successful tournament player in KARDS history, or will it be Vinnie, an experienced competitive player who's also been casting with us and has been around the block for quite a while, but has yet to claim his big claim to fame? But that could come in this series. Darkness, you are intimately familiar with both of these players, having been around the game for this long. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, it's very interesting to see especially this matchup, because from the archetypes, Vinnie is using the same decks as Birdo. Of course, there are tweaks, there are different cards, but J King really does get a second chance to win, not only to get into the top 4 final, but also play against this very specific lineup from Vinnie. And yeah, he already tested this with Birdo. Let's see if he learned his lesson and is able to beat Vinnie and get into the final. On the other side, Vinnie, of course, a very experienced veteran player, one of the most upcoming and ambitious player. I feel like he's always there, really pushing. Most of the time, he's really close before succeeding. And of course, J King is the one who succeeded the most. So yeah, it's a clash of old versus new, of those different lineups. I can't wait to see the action.
Absolutely. And speaking of decks and archetypes, it's time to take a look at what these players are bringing to the table, starting with the decks here for J King. Darkness, why don't you run us quickly through these?
Yeah, let's do this a little faster, because we know those decks already from J King. He's bringing J aggro, very fast and aggressive. He's bringing US France order with very limited units. It's a heavy removal-like deck. And he struggled with this one against Birdo, especially losing against Frontline in the last one. His 3rd match is Control Soviet with France, very powerful. And his last but not least is Brit Italy Control with a ton of guards and even Commonwealth. Now Vinnie is bringing to the table 4 very aggressive decks. Maybe we can change to Vinnie's decks here. The first one is Soviet Japan self-damage. And very interesting, you see 2 Petliakovs as well, denying or blocking deployment effects. This is a difference to the Birdo decks. The second one is J aggro, very standard. He's using 2 Shinoto instead of meter regiments compared to J King's lists. He's using Frontline as well. This could be the Achilles first of J King. Looking at the Birdo decks, maybe there's still a reason to ban Soviet from J King's perspective. And last but not least, German Italy control, very powerful. Although this one is slightly more teched against aggro compared to Birdo's deck list. It has 3 Flam Panzers, 2 Sudden Strikes, and 2 1097s Volksgrenadier. We did not see those yet. So Vinnie can really look at his decks, maybe being even a little bit more prepared against J King as Birdo. Okay, do we have the bans, Ollie?
I believe we do, and indeed we do. Both players have said no to the Soviet decks here, so there's not going to be any Soviet decks, which means that J King is going to have access to his US Order deck, Jagro deck, and his Brit deck. Vinnie is going to have access to his US, Jagro, and Germany decks. That is going to be an interesting setup. Anything that surprises you in these deck bans, Darkness?
Not really. I personally explained why from Birdo's ban I would have targeted J King's Soviet list. Vinnie is apparently the same opinion. For Vinnie, I don't really know how much J King is scared of self-damage or maybe frontline more. But I guess J King is leaning more to self-damage. Of course, it's a very potential deck, and Vinnie does know how to play this as well. So very reasonable bans here. And yeah, I just can't wait to see the action. These two are so experienced, high profile player. The decks are looking very strong, the bans are looking strong, and this will be a best of 5 deciding who's going to the top 4 final and winning at least a grand of prize money. This is huge.
Yeah, the pressure truly is on at this point in time. And I think, both of these players are relatively experienced when it comes to pressure. I know, of course, everyone has followed J King in the competitive scene in cards, or most of the people that are watching have. Vinnie has shown success in the competitive scene around cards, but also has experience from other games and other esports out there. So he is not shy under pressure either. Now we're just waiting for the players to get on into the match. But this is sure to be an exciting one, J King versus Vinnie for the last spot. And I mean, we've run into some issues today. On the technical side, these players have been so amazingly accommodating and patient with everything that's been going on. I would like to give them a huge shout out for that. Of course, the things that happened were out of anybody's control, but now they at least seem to be under control, crossing fingers, knocking on wood. But what an amazing day of games we have had. The Birdo J King series was absolutely crazy. The Head versus Bamboo series, I almost had to call an ambulance and go to the hospital. It was absolutely crazy. And then Kobasnik, unfortunately, he got 3-1'd after 3-1ing everybody in the lower bracket, right? Now he was on the receiving end of that. But coming down to this one, man, today has been absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see what these players then do when they get to the grand final stage. Whatever 4 players are there, we're in for a hell of a show, Darkness.
Of course, I can't wait to see in Iceland what those players are able to deliver. The KARDS esports scene over the last 3 years developed and had an evolution similar to Pokemon, going from first stage to the second and the third. And this will be the last match before the World Championship, to decide if we will see the remaining World Champion or the upcoming competitor Vinnie in Iceland. So it's mulligan time. We do see J King with his Brit control deck against Vinnie with J aggro. I feel like J King got a good matchup for his Brit deck. Of course, it's very control heavy, a lot of field, a lot of guards.
Yeah.
And he does not want to get this into the German deck. He only needs to survive long enough. Only, of course. It's easy to say.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah.
I was gonna say, I think like he definitely gets a good matchup here going into it, and Vinny not great on the mulligan either, right? No one drop in terms of infantry, not 35T to follow it up. So when
Yeah.
it comes to openings from Jackro, this is a fairly lackluster one for Vinny.
It's not great, that's true. On the other side, J King is holding the Bologna regiment, so supply shortage, Black Watch. It's looking very rough for Winnie here. A second supply shortage. Look at that. Of course, J King can only play the Observer Core. I guess it's going to be the Black Watch. He can play Black Watch turn 3, turn 4 Bologna regiment, and attack with Black Watch if he wants to. I
Yep.
don't feel like supply shortage is enough on this field, so
No, I
Black
think
Watch feels
yeah,
good.
agreed. You definitely want to see Vinny develop more of a board before dropping those supply shortages. Dina coming in. Sendai, that's going to make quick work of that Black Watch. One more damage, slipping through the cracks and onto the HQ of J-King.
It's a nice Sendai. Bologna or supply shortage. It's Bologna to save the maximum amount of HP.
The Key 83 is a great top deck there for Vinny, actually. I mean, it allows him to at least put a unit on board if he wants to. Not opting for it, but he could have put a unit on board that threatens the Bologna Regiment within one hit. Opting instead for the Type 93, finding that through the Dina and bringing that Bologna Regiment down to 1 HP. There is, however, another one just waiting there. J-King, though, tickling that supply shortage, knows that that's going to get rid of the Type 93 and drop the attack on that Dina down to 1.
The second Bologna regiment seems very strong as well. I mean, 2 Bologna regiments early on against J aggro, it's a nightmare for Vinny.
Vinny, I mean, to his credit though, I mean, he's had a pretty good time dealing with these so far. If you think about the situation that he could have been in against these Bologna regiments, if he had had, let's say, all of his 15 cavalry regiments and his bicycle regiments out, and not had access to things like the Type 93, the Dina, the bombing raid, things could look a whole lot different from Vinny. He could be exhausting his units while not dealing a whole lot of damage to those Bologna regiments, but dealing with them pretty effectively so far.
Yeah, that is true. And he also traded the Dina into it, giving J King not a good opportunity to use the supply shortage. But look at that top deck, the 7th Alpini Regiment. This unit is so powerful against aggro decks. I'm sure, Ollie, you predicted that the KARDS esports scene will slow down and leaning more towards control decks to not have all aggro meta. And this is one of the reasons why this became true.
Blocking the front line as well with the swordfish. I kind of like that. But Feigned Retreat now being found by Vinny. Now he needs to start dumping his hand. You really don't want to sack maybe all of this into a Feigned Retreat, but effectively dealing with the board. And now, now we might start seeing... No, you can't really afford a supply shortage at this point, can you? Don't you have to guard up against...
He could do double supply shortage. Feels a little bit like erased. Supply shortage and ultra. Maybe radar and supply shortage. Of course he can guard up, but Vinny has one pin, one surprise attack. He does not want Vinny to have the second one. There are 2 left in his decks of those little tanks providing those and losing it. This would be very crucial for him. So J King choose to get a little bit of card raw heal and affect those units with supply shortage.
And also, let's keep in mind that Jaking does have 3 Marinostrums in the deck, so he's maybe not as worried about his health total as long as it's not going down to like 5, right? So he's okay with taking 4 additional damage here, being put down to 12. Feels like he has enough control on the board to be able to withstand that.
Yeah, he can definitely play this safe and maxing out the value from his cards. Of course, he has to, looking at his opponent Vinnie being very efficient and playing around his cards so well so far.
Now the question that I'd like to ask you, Darkness, is if you're Vinnie, how do you get to that Feigned Retreat at the moment, right? Because I feel like you definitely want to try and dump your hand a little bit before you play the Feigned Retreat, right?
I think right now you don't really care about Frightened Retreat. It's like your backup. You're maxing out the value, even using the Sendai Regiment as threat to deal damage. You're using the other cards, deal as much damage as possible, putting Jaking in a very hard position. And if that fails, like in terms of killing him, you have Frightened Retreat and can come back. Jaking using Moonson Root to clear the board, but second Raiding Brigade is gonna take care of that. What a top deck!
What
Well,
a top deck!
Like I said, when he used the Wirbelwind and the key to apply maximum of pressure, Jaking able to hold. But it's not that credit efficient. He has to use supply shortage onto the next 2 units only. This does not feel very good. No, Vinnie is using all of those Akita Regiment, a ton of damage coming through.
Yeah, that's not just 6 damage, that's 12 damage that's on the board there.
Ultra and the Guard. Of course, Vinnie will play the sudden surprise attack first, but even if he gets another hit of the TK and could provide himself what he's not, he would simply, I don't know, why did he not just drop the type?
That's a good question. Maybe that was an input thing for him. I don't know. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. But the Marinostrum is now there in hand.
The Marinostrum onto the 7th Alpini Regiment will provide Jaking with 10 HP, at least.
I mean, at least. Probably more.
If Vinnie's not finding any removal, like Sendai Regiment. There's a type. It's a first.
Bicycle Regiment, Panzer 35T, Arado. No more room in the front line. Shinodo. That means not going to be enough to find the second surprise attack to take care of that guard unit.
He can pin it, but will lose the opportunity to pin kill it. Akita Regiment still not hitting because Vinnie did not deploy the type 93. Jaking received an extra 5 HP and Vinnie had to
this is done. This is done. Jaking has Commonwealth. He's at 30.
It's Commonwealth time.
No, Jaking, you have Commonwealth. You have Commonwealth, Jaking. Look at your hand. There we go. He finds it.
Whoa.
Wow, he was so close to missing it.
He's so close. Well,
wow, look at him.
Look at his face. He almost missed it and is like, time to wake up, samurai.
Wow. That would have rivaled Bamboo for the biggest misplay if he just didn't play Commonwealth. Cards to win the game. Like,
to be fair, Jaking only had the opportunity because Vinnie did not play the Type 93. With those extra damage, the guard would have be dead sooner, or an Akita hit random could have killed it sooner. it is really those little things, very little things.
Yeah. Wow.
No, wow! Look at Jaking. He's nodding his head. He is playing US francs against German indie control, and this is the best possible matchups for Jaking's US France control deck. This will be a rough time for Vinnie as well. Now Jaking leading with 1-0. And this makes it really, really tough for Vinnie. You see, there's already a Lion for a day, and there are more cards that won't do anything against Jaking's deck.
I mean, Lion for Day could theoretically take out a Hellcat.
Yeah, but usually Jaking does not want to have those units on the field. For example, if there is a Panther G in the front line, Jaking would like to use the Hellcat to kill it instantly. And like this, if Vinnie draws unlucky a few sudden strikes on top, he will clock his hand.
Yeah, and I think so. I mean, one thing that I feel like plays in Jaking's favor here as well is that you tend to keep a relatively large hand size if you're playing Germany Italy control. And that means that the defendant depths are always going to have a lot of value.
A lot. Yes, that's true. United we stand patrol, not giving Vinnie ramp. Q88, powerful card. But there are no units to copy. And Jaking
That's true.
can simply remove it. Let me check if Vinnie's playing Careless Talk. He's
Panther
not running
G-
Careless Talk.
Jaking is also checking if Vinnie is not ready.
He's also checking. So he knows he can use his Hellcat and just remove the Panther G.
You can see it. Wow, one might think that you guys are teammates or something. This is the first thought.
Why
credit
would
on
you stop
Panther-
that?
Panther G on the board. Let me check if he has Careless Talk. Nope, he does not. Like 3 seconds later on stream, Jaking is going like, I wonder if he has Careless Talk.
Yeah, we prepared and trained a lot.
All right. I mean, plenty of options here. Jaking can continue to deal with this. One question: how do you deal with the King Tiger?
There are possibilities, for example, high altitude bombing or death from above.
Yeah.
Effects that randomly kill a unit. So it does not needs to be targeted. Very important to save at least one of those for the King Tiger.
Liberation.
Yeah, a lot of.
That's gonna overdraw Vinnie here.
Yeah, clocking the hand, of course, healing for 9, clocking with 3 resistance cards. It's very strong. Gunship mission, taking care of the Arado. Q88, this is a very good overdraw. It's big stats. We're going to take 3 damage. Of course, with Man Nostrum, he's not fearing a ton of damage. Second liberation, it's the same
Almost
again.
an overdraw.
3 resistance cards from the deep. Well, from the deep is good, I guess. Looking at the Hellcat.
Aren't there 2 Hellcats? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 Hellcats and 101st Airborne. But as long as Jaking won't play it, it would have clocked the hand. Well, Schwalbe is something to deal with. Sunstrike. Sunstrike will clock the hand. Unfortunate for Vinnie. Air defense. Jaking needs to hold air defense for Comet. Wait, there is no comet in Vinnie's deck.
No, is it phony war time? Seeing as though that's not going to benefit Vinnie at all. Just going to be free draw for J King.
Actually, Phony War is a powerful mechanic in this deck to win with fatigue.
Yeah, okay. So you want to have your opponent draw rather than yourself.
Yes, exactly. Vinnie not going for the King Tiger. J King finding Death from above. He should have activated air defense to kill this one little unit because there's no comet to save it for. And both U-88s are already gone. He's going for draw. He needs options.
Oh, he finds defended depth.
Defend depth. Really strong. Going to kill the Leopold.
Mare Nostrum
Nice.
now.
No, it's too little. I expect King Tiger. Vinnie really smart. Not playing the resistance cards. Of course, defend in depth will be stronger, but he won't build draw with Phony War, actually giving him a chance in fatigue.
Okay, so now J King needs to effectively deal with the 2 units in the front line so that he's able to properly use Death from Above. Because he has 2, he throws out 1. Oh, is he going to take the 50-50? Oh my god, and he gets the 50-50
Whoa.
onto the King Tiger. I thought for sure that he was going to play the 101st Airborne and take out the frontline unit before playing that on next turn. Or something.
J King, that was a risk, of course, but it rewarded him. He had 2 chances. So it was basically good chances. And the 101st Airborne removing this unit. Vinnie only finding 1 single unit. His hand is clocked. 2 sudden strikes. No possible targets. J King can remove just the Flame Panzer with United We Stand and Patrol.
Can we see deck sizes, please?
Exercises
I
now
feel
is really important.
Yeah, I feel like it would be good to see deck sizes real quick. 18 versus 17. So Vinnie with a slight advantage in the fatigue, but not by too much.
No, it really depends on how much HP you have to start. This is the second Mare Nostrum. Vinnie already played. J King has to deal with the Flame Panzer.
And Vinnie is playing this really smart, right? You notice some people might be asking, oh, he just floated 7 credits. Why isn't he getting rid of those resistance cards? He's not getting rid of them because he kind of wants his hand to be clogged up. So that way, Phony War is not able to have him draw a ton of additional cards, effectively pushing him closer to fatigue than J King.
Exactly. He's playing Root out instead of Resistance. He does not want to take damage. Root out 0 is able to kill the Hellcat. J King is still having in his deck. But Lion for a Day is killing that too. And the U-Boat, of course. J King not doing anything. Vinnie going for the U-Boat. He's having 9 cards in hand. He does not want to overdraw. So he could play the Nachschub. And maybe even the U-Boat onto the Nachschub. Call of the Colonies. Patrol. That was pretty strong for J King. Africa Corps. Very important. What is he going to get? Tiger IE is the strongest card here, definitely. Vinnie
High
thinks
altitude
now.
bombing, though.
Yeah, Vinnie right now is checking J King's decks, how many deaths from above J King is using, and I'm doing the same. He's 3. So J-King only played 2, but is not having it. So high altitude bombing has to come in place. J-King cannot risk it. Although there are arguments for Counter-Strike, but this would have been risky. And Tiger AE is just the strongest potential threat Vinnie is able to play here.
I mean, apart from Tiger IE, he's probably just King Tiger, right?
As a King Tiger is dead.
Yeah,
Leopold
but
is dead.
from Africa Core.
Ah, yeah. No, Comet could have been an option, but J-King has already the answers. And Panzerzug would have been strong.
Panzerzug, yeah.
Giving you actually 3 units and the ability to deal 6 damage in a single turn because of the 13 credits. So I guess Panzerzug would have been the strongest.
This deck produces some weird cards gameplay. Cross of Lorraine there.
I don't know if he needs to use Cross of Lorraines. Right. Could have rated Bologna Regiment.
Bologna Regiment. Is that enough to warrant a death from above? Considering all the threats that have been played?
Wait a second.
Let's see. Vinnie, he has not played the
A second Penta G and Jagdbomber is left.
Yeah.
So there are arguments to not use Death from Above. Although J-King has Counter-Strike. And of
air
course,
defense.
Yeah, air defense is not doing a lot here. Gathering Storm. Oh, Vinnie does not want to draw cards in this situation. So he can just float. As a cross of Laurent. J-King holding. Marinostrum.
He just has to play it so that he doesn't cap out his hands. Currently holding 9 cards.
He can't play it. That's the point. J-King would destroy it without any usage. So I'm expecting him to use 1 resistance cards as damage and move Bologna into the front line.
Why can't he Mirror Nostrum the Bologna Regiment instead of playing a resistance card?
It's the last Mirror Nostrum, and J-King is above in HP, meaning he will lose in fatigue if he's not getting value out of Mirror Nostrum.
I gotcha.
And maybe the Bologna Regiment is not even enough, so he needs to wait to find a better target. Hellcat. Very strong for J-King. He could use Death from Above now to get rid of Bologna, because he does have the answer for the last remaining Panther G.
With the Bologna Regiment just sitting behind the and beside the HQ there, does it make sense to even use it?
Yeah, of course. You could just move Death from Above to kill the Bologna Regiment. Vinnie using Sudden Strike on his own Arado.
That leaves him open for a draw from Phony War. If J-King were to play it now, that would cause him to draw 1 card.
It's definitely not enough Phony War damage. And I don't know if this is a correct play by Vinnie. Of course, a clocked hand feels bad. But yeah, it's an opportunity for Phony War. And it's like 1 less needed removal for Vinnie. Annihilation. He could use the Arado to play Annihilation. That would be so much better. It's another clocked card right now. Another resistance cards needs to go. Looks like the Sudden Strike came a little bit too fast. Of course, J-King has torpedo attacks. This is why Vinnie did not advance Bologna into the front line. He was afraid of that. Well,
Yeah, it looks like he now feels comfortable using the death from above now that he has torpedo attack and the Hellcat. But I wonder, like, I wonder if why he has to use it, considering. I mean, yes. Okay, so he's trying to prevent Vinnie from playing the Panther G behind a guard so that the
Yeah.
Hellcat is not able to trade it. That makes sense.
It doesn't really matter. The point is, Jacking had 8 credits and had to use something, and he has basically everything he wants. So he could have played Call to the Colonies to heal, or Death from Above, because at the end he has to remove everything Vinnie's playing.
Yeah.
Heinkel,
Yeah, but I mean, this would have been awkward if he did not have, if the Bologna regiment was still on field. This situation would have been awkward because he didn't have a reliable way to kill the Bologna regiment and the Panther G, right? I guess it would have
Of
always
course,
been a 50-50, right? Yeah.
not at all. He could have played Death from Above, Bologna Regiment, open for Hellcat,
Yeah.
Panther G. Then the Panther G is dead, and he has torpedo attacks if the infantry moves into the front line.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I'm learning, Darkness. I'm learning. This deck is weird.
It is. It is. That's true. Vinnie is running out of cards. I think it's 2 or 3 cards left. Jaking trying to memorize what is left for him. I think a Jagdbomber. He's just healing and going for the research. Manhattan projects are a very big part because of the damage. Vinnie finding Bologna Regiment. He can drop it, but what are those guys going to do? There's a 5th Ranger. Jaking can't really play it though. It would just open Annihilation possibility, so he needs to play something. It's Call to the Colonies, more heal. Another Annihilation, not really useful for Vinnie. He really could have used Arado or Heinkel just as Annihilation. No, Annihilation is only targetable on enemy units, my bad. U-boat is able to destroy your own units. Slowly but surely, Vinnie's running out of options. He knows Jaking has torpedo attacks.
What are the deck sizes? I believe there's only like 2 or 3 cards left in Vinnie's deck. 3 cards, 3 cards. So this game's going to be over now.
Very soon.
I mean, Jaking has the double nukes.
Double nukes. He's going for gunship mission and air defense. He could have used double gunship mission and going for the Manhattan projects to just start nuking Vinnie down.
I don't know why he didn't go for the Manhattan project, because it would have clogged his hand, or
he had to use double gunship mission, and I guess he wants to save his removals as long as possible. But I know he's not writing everything down, but alt tapping, checking the deck lists in the Google Drive folder, and I'm very sure he did not memorize everything. So he's very sure he's winning right now, but he does not know because he lost track. That would be a typical Jaking move based on our training together. Of course, it's looking very strong for him. Vinnie has only 2 left. He found a battery. This is another removal for the Bologna Regiment. Wait. Vinnie overdrawing, ruled out. Jaking not fully understanding this move either.
I think it just doesn't matter at this point. I mean, I think Jaking just made the conscious decision that he was going to win on fatigue.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, he's not even trying to end the game.
Torpedo attack killing this. It's the last card. It's a La Decima. The last unit. Jaking knows he won.
Yeah.
He made the victory piece. He's into fatigue, but so much deeper, and there are no options for Vinnie to win this fatigue.
And now he can just create the Manhattan Project. So that's going to be 12 damage. The Cross of Lorraine is going to be more. The Strat Bombing is going to be even more. And Vinnie surrenders. He knows he has no chance to win the fatigue battle. He has no chance to opportunity here against Vinnie. 2-0 up at the moment. But one deck remains. Will Vinnie be able to claw himself back here for the reverse sweep and snatch that final spot in the grand finals? Or will J King take a dominant 3-0 victory? We'll find out right now as J King plays his Jagro deck into the German-Italy control here from Vinnie.
Yeah, Vinnie plays German Italy Control, the strongest deck against J Aggro in his lineup. So he already has the 1087, 90, wait, what is the number again? 97 Volksgrenadier, giving you extra stats and guards if there's a blitz unit. Heinkel, another early removal. Vinnie has a ton of options here. Checking, advancing, playing the Akita Regiment. This allows Vinnie to play the Volksgrenadier, but he would float 1 credit, so I'm not a big fan. Heinkel, Flam Panzer, or the Autokanone could be also possible. He's just going for the safe play. Getting buffed, +2 and guard.
Yeah, he's
Looking
keeping
strong.
the Flampanzer for a higher priority target, but then that just gets rating brigaded right out.
Immediately.
And now he's in a little bit of a tough spot because of that credit inefficiency earlier. But look at that, 2 Type 93s. J King is able to play both of them and trade that Type 94 into the Autocanone if he wants to, and that is a pretty big move. He also pushes 2 units into the front line that both have 4 attack.
Yeah, he has to do that. He's very vulnerable to root out, but Vinnie did not get the root out. So Flam Panzer takes care of the first Sunspike, of the second support line unit. Still kind of a tough spot for J King, knowing Vinnie does has Mare Nostrum. But of course, it's much better than root out. Another Akita Regiment, and just 4 damage into the HQ.
Jag Bomber can throw one of these back. Not enough credits though to operate.
I call Mare Nostrum and Heinkel and attack with Flam Panzers. It's heal, killing 2 units. He's not using.
Not using the Mare Nostrum yet.
He could buff the Heinkel 2 less HP, but of course this bomber is way stickier and not instant.
Not against the Panzer 35T.
Arado first, bombing rate, very strong card. Vinnie played very, very good around bombing rate. Yeah. So his HQ won't take damage. The 3 unit stays on the back. Wait, does it even matter? Yes. He saved 2 HP, even though if J King.
Root out being found.
Root out is so important. There's just no other option. Of course, Panther G plus Mare Nostrum is superb, but root out is much stronger.
But I feel like J King is just barreling closer and closer to that Sheeden being a real threat, right?
Yeah. As long as there's no guard.
Vinnie kind of needs to find a Mare Nostrum suit. I mean, this is a juicy root out board. And having a Mare Nostrum right now would feel so good if you were Vinnie. If you could just root out Mare Nostrum, then attack with the Jacked Bomber, that would just be the ideal situation. But no, the Mare Nostrum is no longer there.
He used his first one The remaining 2 are in his decks. Kadechima, interesting move. Of course, it's in guard. It plays around Cheaten. And with Ambush, it's actually hard to remove for J aggro. Looking like J King is going for Dina.
Looking for another Type 94. Does not find it.
Yes, there is a... Oh, no, Type 94. Yes, of course. Oh, look at that. The Akita Regiment hit the guard. J King is now able to even trade with the Arado and Type 93 to go for the maximum damage. It's 6 more into the HQ of Vinnie. Down to 5. King Tiger not really helpful here. I guess it's root out now.
It's root out, but the Cheaten is going to be coming out next turn. And the Cheaten is going to put Vinnie down to 1 HP.
King
Then
already
there's-
used all Type 93s.
Yes.
So it's not possible for him to get this top deck. Vinnie's
there's no
thinking about
top
the
deck.
research. I guess, yeah, he needs the removal, CV1 Flying Bomb.
So, I mean, there's no top deck that can win the...
Right now.
Well, I mean, that can win it right now for J King, but, I mean, he's got the Mito regiments, 2 of them, to back it up. I guess this is the World Championship. You want to play things safe, so it looks like he's going to play the Mito first, try and put on the pressure, try and bait Vinnie into dropping himself below 4 HP so that he can blitz out this Cheaten and finish the game in the following turn. Puts the 2 Mitos up there. Oh, the Bologna Regiment. Now, will Vinnie realize that he cannot drop too low? Does float significant amount of credits. Another Mito Regiment. Then just the Mito damage is going to be enough to finish off the game.
For J King, by pinning the Jagd Bomber, he's now not really having options to kill the Bologna Regiment. So he has to hold another turn the Cheaten to be able to double attack.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's
surely
crucial.
he held the pin, or he used the pin to try and prevent like a 5 healing Mare Nostrum from Vinnie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
So that was it was a good blocker play, even though it didn't work out with Vinnie top decking the Bologna Regiment the following turn. But just the damage that's on board for J King right now is enough to end the game. And Vinnie needs to find a Mare Nostrum yesterday, preferably.
Yeah, it looks very rough for Vinnie. He needs a good top deck. But I want to say one thing. People are playing relatively aggressive and going for 33% chances, if 50% chances to just win.
That's going to be it. That's going to be it. There's no draw for Vinnie. The death effects of those 2 Mito regiments are going to finish it off. And he knows it.
Wow.
And J King 3-0s Vinnie to get himself into the grand finals of the KARDS 2022 World Championship. The chance to defend his world title is real. It is there after being dropped down into the losers bracket by his great friend Berto Burrito. They have a chance and will meet again in the grand finals.
Congrats to J King. He played very well and just got better matchups compared to the Berto series we saw before. I'm very happy for him. There are 2 Team Ammo members in the final, and it's Canada versus the East in Iceland in the top 4. Congrats also to Vinnie. This was a very, very tough matchup for him. He did great. He got 5th in this World Championship, and he's only taking experience out of it, what is great. I know this loss feels horrible, but I'm sure he will grow out of this.
Absolutely. Congratulations to J King. Unfortunate for Vinnie, but still, huge congratulations for Kobasnik and Vinnie for even making it this far. They had a hard time to make it into the top 6, but at the end, both of our winner bracket finalists there, Bamboo and J King, making good use of their second opportunity there in the lower bracket and securing themselves into the top 4 grand finals. That means that the 4 players that will be competing for the title of KARDS 2022 World Champion are Head, Berto Burrito, Bamboo, and J King 7. We'll throw it over to Elin and Christo to close out the show. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for bearing with us. It's been an absolute pleasure casting these matches. And we'll see you at the beginning of December for the Grand Finals.
Elin, J King did it. J King is going back to the World Championships to defend his title. And I mean, you have to feel for Vinnie. It's been a long day. He's waited a minute or two, but I have to think that, you know, J King coming out and saying, hey, I'm not missing this opportunity. I feel like once he won that second game, going to fatigue, that's just such a J King move that I there was no doubt that he was not going to let this second opportunity slip through his fingers.
Absolutely. And he really had me getting a little bit stressed out here on his first matchup when he almost missed that Commonwealth move. Oh my God, these were some really interesting and exciting games, but he managed to bring it through 3-0. He definitely needed to prove that he can carry this on. He can take that 2022 KARDS World Champion title. And he is now on to the Final 4. Vinnie, of course, with a very impressive run through the loser bracket, just as Kobasnik. Both of these guys, really impressive players, and super well done to them. But I mean, everyone did an amazing job today, of course.
Absolutely. It was a 4 wonderful series. We have 4 competitors going into the World Championships. They were all the ones out at the top of the bracket too, so it does show there is some advantage to having that hot streak going. We got J King defending his championship. We have a relative newcomer in Bamboo. We have Head, we have Berto. We're gonna have a phenomenal grand finals for you on December 3rd and 4th. Before we get there, though, before that $10,000 prize pool is on the line, I do believe we have one more OCC for you coming up next week. So don't miss that. Got a lot of cards action as we approach the World Championships. Thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and for your patience with our technical difficulties. Same thing to the players for just being phenomenal, putting on a fantastic show for all of us, as well as having that patience in between some of the matches. Those delays did go on for a minute or two. And, to yourself, Elin, to Ollie, to Spoos, to Darkness, phenomenal job today. I cannot wait to see these 4 go head to head to find out who is going to be the 2022 KARDS World Champion.